Okay. All right, so according to the counter, we are live of about 10 seconds now. So, let's see here. Looks like I'm the only one here right now, unless that's counting someone else besides me, but it might be just me. Okay, so anyone who gets in the chat, please let me know that you're here. Please say hello. That way I can count your name and give you some participation points for showing up. All right. Okay, so we'll wait a little bit for people to arrive. Okay, so I'll just start doodling a little bit. Aha, we have someone here. Aha. All right, we got Zara. Good afternoon to you, Zara. How are you doing today? We got Zara. Do we have anyone else? We should have at least one other person here. Hopefully you don't get a weirdo like last time. All right, we got Samantha Guzman. Hello, Samantha. Thank you so much for joining us. How are we doing today? We doing all right? Are we doing okay? Are we doing just fine? Very well. You're very welcome, Samantha. That is very good. All right, I hope you're doing okay too, Zara. Would you let us know how you're doing? That'd be nice. Stressing first exams are starting. Aha, aha. Yeah, so we had our first quiz, and I wouldn't be surprised if other people are starting to do their first tests as well. All right, but don't worry. You're gonna be doing fine. You're gonna do just fine. Don't stress out too much about it. You're gonna do just fine. One thing that we are supposed to do during this pandemic is, we're not supposed to just make this a free ride for students, but we are supposed to make this somewhat more easy to bear. So, leniency and indulgence is kind of the watchwords of this semester. But like I said, not too indulgent, not too lenient, but we certainly don't want to make the situation any more stressful than it already is. Okay, so a little bit of stress, that's a good thing for doing tests, doing exams, but not too much. Don't think that it's going to entirely blow your chances or anything like that. If you don't do 100% perfectly, say at the start of these courses, it's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. You're going to be all right. Okay, and let's see here. Do we have anyone else showing up yet? Oh, hello, Yunjun. Hello, Yunjun. Very nice to have you. Any feedback on the first quiz that we took for our class? Did you find it challenging? Did you find it okay? How would you rate it kind of on a difficulty level, say between 1 and 10? How would you rate say not only the way the test is written, but say the overall experience of doing it, of highlighting the answers and then submitting the test back? How would you say that went for you guys? Do you think that went okay? How would you rate, say, the difficulty of the test, both the test as written and the test as structured? What would you say about that? So I need to get some indication of how well people are doing. The good news is, for me, it would be about 3 out of 10. Okay, all right. So it leaned a little bit more towards the easy side. I think the highlighting submitting was pretty straightforward. It is nice to have a lot of time to check answers. Yes, I imagine so. And I have been grading the test, and I can at least say that the fears that that this will just result in people turning in perfect assignments are unfounded. I still got quite a few answers back that were not correct. Okay. Alejandra is it Arion? Alejandra Arion. Say thank you very much for joining the chat. Am I pronouncing your last name at least a little okay, Alejandra? Arion? Is it Arion? Okay. Please let me know. I want to do better. Like I said, I'm a terrible white person, and so I have terrible white person pronunciations of names. But I'm trying to do better at it. Okay. It's the professors who are using proctoring, and you have to look straight at the computer and not move and write out reactions. And sometimes with ADHD, it's stressful. Aha! Oh, okay. So this is something that that I think should be brought up. To say that if you are dealing with ADHD or other conditions, this is hardly the right way to go about exams. Now, Zara, are you a member of the Center for Students with Disabilities? Because if you are, you can get special dispensations for doing tests. You know, you can tell them that, say, this kind of way of doing tests is not helpful. It is pretty stressful and could actually result in a worse, not better performance. And you know, you get in touch with the center. They'll get in touch with your professor, and they'll tell them, "Hey, the student can't do this way. You know, you shouldn't put this kind of burden on the student if this is the situation that they're dealing with." And they'll make sure that you're taking a test in a manner or in an environment that is more conducive to you doing well. Thank you, Alejandra. The J is like an H, so let me go back there. Alejandra Arhan, is it Arhan? Alexander Arhan? Okay, please let me know. I want to do better. I took I took French in high school, not Spanish. Unfortunately, I should have done Spanish because I have forgotten most of my French at this point. Okay. All right. Arhan. Thank you so much, Alejandra. Zara says, can you talk more about how you want citations for the first assignment? Okay. All right. So basically it's this, that all I want is if you are drawing any information that from an outside source, you know, where I can see where you're getting this information from. If you say something like polls show that most people don't know who fought in World War II, I want to know where those polls are coming from. And to do that, what I want you to do is, after you say something like polls show most Americans don't know who fought in World War II, put in parentheses the name, the title, say the author, the title of the article or wherever you're getting the information from, and the date, if it's got a date. So basically what I want in parentheses is anything that can help me find where you're getting your sources from. I'm not a big fan of footnotes or endnotes is a thing. I much prefer just seeing in the text itself where the information is coming from instead of having to flip through pages or just keep going, looking up and down on the page. So, just within parentheses, tell me where the information is coming from. Say the author's name, if you can find an author, the title of the book or the chapter or the article title, and the name of the newspaper or the name of the journal, or if it's an online thing, the URL address. Okay, let me know if that's helpful, Sarah. Let me know if that is giving you a better understanding of what you need to do. Okay. Okay, and if anyone else has any questions about the first writing assignment, let me know. I'm going to have a little drink of water. No, sorry that the lectures are going to be once again late. I'm going to be putting them up later today. I just got so frustrated yesterday when after doing the entirety of the lecture for this class, I see that I accidentally turned the camera off. It happened when I was switching back and forth between my lecture notes and the camera, and I keep forgetting to just open and close the Word document icon instead of the camera icon, because that automatically turns the camera off. And I did it not just once, I did it twice. So that was very frustrating. So sorry once again that the Thursday lecture is once again going to go up on Friday. I'm saying I've done this on Friday so often, I might as well make Friday the day in which I put up the second set of lectures. But I need to shoot for Thursday. I need to get it done sooner rather than later. Alejandro asks, do you have to have citations or is it not necessary? It is not necessary. If you don't say, not everything is something that you have to cite. It's only if you are giving me specifics like that you are drawing your information from like polls or from maybe some research of some kind. If it's from personal experience, I don't need you to cite anything. But if you are basing your argument off of information that I can see is, say, maybe factually incorrect, then I want to see, say, where that information is coming from. So not every argument needs to be based off of information that you need to cite. But if you are bringing in information into your paper that has to do with facts that require outside research to verify, then you need to have citations. But like I said, just for specific data could be an example of that. I'm trying to think of whether anything else besides specific data. I would say that if it's anything where, if it's drawn on maybe historical fact, and historical fact just means anything that has happened. So even if you were to say that yesterday there was a 4-car collision in Fullerton, I want to see the newspaper where that came from, or I want to see the online article where that information came from. If you're using that as evidence for something in your argument. So I guess what I'm saying, that if it is evidence in your argument that isn't drawn from personal experience, or if it is not just based off of a concept. So when I say something like that, I mean that if you say something like, in order for something to be a good painting, it has to have, say, good composition. That's not anything that you need to cite. That's not anything that you need to go into an outside source to back up as cited research information. That is just something that you can defend as a correct or incorrect way of understanding what makes a good picture. So that is not something that needs citation. But if it is, maybe specific data is the way to say it. But if it is something that is historical information, scientific information, information about populations, information about, say, probabilities. You know, if you say something like, if we don't change our attitudes about the police, if we don't come down more strongly on police brutality and whatnot, we might see an increase in, say, police beatings or police killings by this percentage by this date. I want to see how you're getting those numbers. And if you did that research yourself, well, that is still going to require, if you crunch those numbers yourself, if you said this is my calculation, I still need to see where you're drawing that data from. I still need to see, say, where all of that information is coming from. So let me know, Alejandro. Let me know if that is a good answer to your question. I know I ramble on sometimes, so hopefully I was able to get across what I want to say without losing everything in the details. So please let me know if that helps. If it doesn't, let me know and I'll do better. Okay, Alejandro says yes, thank you. So you're very welcome, Alejandro. But if anyone else wants further clarification on what needs to be cited and what doesn't need to be cited in a paper, let me know. Okay. Let me. Sorry, I got a little something in my throat here. Hold on. Yeah, you would have had the pleasure of seeing that in a classroom. Instead, you get to see it on your computer screen. Okay. So Yoon Jung asks, is there a minimum word count for the writing assignment? And the answer is no. There's no minimum word count. There's just, the requirement is just to write 2 full pages. So instead of doing a word count, all I'm looking to see is that you were able to get to the bottom of the second page with text. You know, that it is just writing all the way down there. Now, is that 2 full single space pages? No, that's 2 full double spaced 12 font pages. Okay, so I'm not concerned about word count. I'm not going to check the word count. All I'm going to see is, say, from page 1, after you do say the name, the class, the date, maybe even my name and the title, that below that and all the way down to the bottom of the second page, I can see that you filled up those pages. That's actually something that I need to have for this class. It's actually something that the college requires me to have you do, is an X number of pages. So that's why we have to do, say, it as a page count. Okay, thank you. All right. Well, any other questions about the assignment, I'm very happy to answer. Now, a thing that I don't think I talked about before is, and so I might have a little bit of leeway on this, but not too much, is to say, when I talk about, and maybe I did talk about this, I honestly cannot remember, but if, like I said, you can take a controversial position on things, but it has to be, say, within certain perimeters. I mean, when I say you write me an essay about anything, I don't want you to write me an essay. And this is an example, by the way. This is an example that I received from one semester. I don't want a paper saying things like women are inherently dumber than men. I don't want to read anything like African Americans should be on the bottom rung of society. That's no. I will not accept anything like that. You can take a controversial position, but say when it gets to the point where we're talking about, say, actually putting whole groups of people down and keeping them down socially, keeping them down emotionally, or even kind of like, physically abusing them, That's bad. I will not tolerate anything like that. That goes against, say, the policies of toleration for our school, for our division, and certainly against my own personal principles of what should be allowed. So, if you write something controversial, and maybe we can talk about, say, what I mean by, say, being a kind of controversial thing that can be accepted. Certainly, the upcoming presidential election presents a lot of controversy. And you might say something like, I know it might be the unpopular position to take, but here are the reasons for why I would vote for Donald Trump for president. Okay, and if you list your reasons, and they're not reasons like we need to it's good for a cheating racist businessman to be president because that's the kind of person who I think should be in charge of the country is a racist white man. That's where it's going to get into problematic areas. Okay, you say something like, I like the fact that he's encouraging radical right-wing violence against people, where he's talking about, say, people being shot by vigilantes at peaceful protests is a good thing. No, that is not the right kind of controversy we're talking about. But if you say something like, I think that he is a strong leader when it comes to, say, international things, even though we failed in a huge international test when it came to the coronavirus pandemic. If you say these kind of things, say that's controversial, but say controversial within reasonable parameters. Like I said, say we can't accept anything where you're putting people down based on who they are. Nothing where you're going to say something like, trans people are not are disgusting and should be sent to re-education camps. They should be put in mental asylums. No, nothing like that. Don't give me anything like that. So you might ask me, say, why did that person write me that essay saying that women are inherently dumber than men? Well, they said that they wanted to write something shocking. They wanted to write something that would grab my attention. But the thing is, you can grab my attention in a lot of ways. You don't have to take a position like that in order to draw my attention. You don't have to take a position like that in order to be stimulating. In order to be challenging, you don't have to do that. There are many ways in which you can be challenging, and challenging in a way that is actually going to push understanding and push arguments forward. Papers like that will do the opposite. Say, I'm just going to stay really entrenched in my views for good reason, I would say. That's because you didn't give me any good reason to get out of my views. To get out of my views that women are intellectually equal to men. It's not going to take me out of my, I think, very well defended and very reasonable position that, intellectually speaking, there is no difference between men and women. It's not a thing. So don't think that you need to do that. It's like those students, and I'm sure you've had those students before in your classrooms. Those students who are constantly raising their hand and interrupting conversation, interrupting lectures to get across what they think is a brilliant, shocking, controversial point, because they think to say, "What am I doing? I'm stimulating conversation." Well, no. You're just annoying everyone. You're just making it more difficult for the professor to do their lecture. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't raise your hand and challenge people, but you know that there is a difference between the people who do actually ask challenging questions and the people who are just there to make themselves the center of attention in the classroom. You've had those before, I'm sure. There's almost one every semester that I have. And I try to make sure that their attempts to just be the center of attention in the classroom is thwarted. And I try to get more students who are maybe reluctant to speak because this guy's just so full of himself. Usually a guy. Sometimes it's a gal, but it's usually a guy. Want to explain that to me? Okay. Sorry, I got a little allergy thing going on today. Okay, so we got some feedback on the quiz. So for the most part, it seemed like an easy quiz, I guess. But let me know. Let me know if anyone found anything particularly challenging about it. One thing that I should have said in the directions for the quiz is that if you can't highlight the answers, you can put the answers in bold. And I think in my mind, I thought that, say, well, people will be able to figure that out. Never leave that to chance, because the student is going to have it in their mind to say, oh, well, if I just put it in bold, they're going to say that I didn't follow the directions, and they're going to mark it wrong. So I need to keep in mind that, say, the students might have that in mind instead of what I have in mind. So you can put the answers in bold or highlighted. I should say you can do one or the other. Put it in bold or highlight it. Okay, so I'll take any other questions about the writing assignment, about the quiz, or any comments that you want to have about the writing assignment or the quiz. Please let me know. The quizzes the quizzes are being graded this weekend, so you should be getting those back very soon. It's pretty easy for me to grade them this way. I did it a pretty stupid way last semester, where I said, well, just send me the answers. And so I've got to squint and read, say, A, B, 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 Z, B, 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 in all of the emails. And that's not a way to do it. It's much easier for me to see, say, if it's highlighted in the text. Okay, so that's going to be coming back to you soon. The first paper, I know a lot of people have already got it in. The first paper, the actual official due date is still September 22nd, because I had to extend it because I goofed in one of my lectures with the wrong date. So get that into me. I'll get that back to you as soon as I can. If I get the grading for the quizzes done early enough this weekend, I'll start grading the papers that have already been turned in me. I'll get you the grades back on that. And what do we have coming up? Well, coming up next week, we also have the next quiz. The next quiz will be covering some things that we've been talking about recently, where we have been talking more about argument structure. And we began, I began, the video hasn't come out yet, but I've begun talking about, say, how to get your argument started. Say, what kind of premises should you have in there? So once that video gets up, I'll talk a little bit more about that for the upcoming quiz. Oh boy, yesterday was a real pisser, kids. It was a real pisser. Munir is here. Munir is here just when I was starting to get grumpy. Okay, thank you very much, Munir. No, Munir, it's okay. It's okay, Munir. It's the reason why I'm having this thing go on for an hour is so that within that hour, hopefully many people get a chance to show up. So don't worry about coming in a little late. That's all right. That's all right. You can if people just show up the last 5 minutes of class, I'll still last 5 minutes of the chat, I'll still count that. Okay. All right. Very good, Munir. So Munir, we were talking about the first quiz. I was asking people if they have any questions about the first quiz, whether they thought it was a difficult quiz, whether they thought it was an easy quiz, whether they thought, say, whether it was convenient or inconvenient for them to turn it in the way that they did. We're also talking about the first writing assignment, which is due on the 22nd, whether anyone has any questions about that or any concerns about that. Okay. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm having a little bit of an allergy problem. Just need to blow my nose again. Okay. Okay. Just one of the many delightful noises you would have had with me if we were in a classroom together. Is me doing this because I've got a little bit of an allergy problem. Get to see me wipe the boogers out of my nose, out of my beard. Okay. Okay, so Munir is asking about citations, and this is something that I did go on at length a little bit earlier. So I won't say everything that I've already said, because this video will go up on YouTube and you'll be able to go through all of that. But do you have any specific questions about citation? Do you have any questions about, say, whether, what sort of things should be cited or anything like that? Okay. Munir also says that he has had no problem with submitting the quiz. That's very good. And allergies have been a problem for you too. Ooh, I'm sorry. Yes, say allergies can be pretty tough. If I take an antihistamine pill, that's just going to make me sleep. So I got to avoid taking one of those too. So Munir, let me know if you have any specific questions about citations, because I may have already answered them earlier in this video. So you can say, once this goes up, you can go back and check what I say. I think I was talking about it maybe 10 maybe 15 minutes into the video. All right, but let me know if it's anything specific. But if it's not specific, I'll talk a little bit about it in general terms. Okay. Okay. All right. So Munir says, maybe to support the conclusion, I wanted to get a quotation from a director or maybe an owner of a specific product. Okay. If your conclusion is based on what someone has said, yes, then I would want to know. I want to know, say, where you're getting that information from. If you would. Pardon me. If you're quoting someone, I need to know where I can find that quotation. If you are bringing up bringing up, say, maybe Consumer Reports about a specific product, I want to know, say, where those Consumer Reports are coming from. Basically, if you're drawing any kind of outside information that is not, say, based off of personal experience, that you're using as evidence to support your conclusion, then I want to know where that evidence is coming from. If it's basic stuff that, since the sun rose in the east yesterday, I expect the sun to rise in the east tomorrow. Say that's not something that you need to bring in outside information on, because that's something that anyone can confirm themselves through their own observations. If you say something like, if you say something like say my car wouldn't start yesterday. Well, I don't want to see documentation from AAA showing that your car didn't actually start. That's just something I'm going to have to accept as a fact. But if it is based off, say, what someone else has said, what someone else has done, information like that, in order to support your conclusion, I would want to see where the information is coming from. And like I said, you don't have to do a works cited page. You don't have to do footnotes or endnotes. What I do want to see is just wherever you're drawing the information from to be put in parentheses coming right after you quote something. So right after you quote someone, you say, so-and-so said such and such. I want to see in parentheses, say, where you're getting the information from. say Simon Callow, The Life of Orson Welles, page number, whatever, or the URL address of whatever, maybe an online article that you're getting the information from. Okay, all right. So let me know, Munir, whether that answered your question or not. Okay, so perfect. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you. That's very helpful. Yes, I know it's tricky. I know it's tricky because every professor seems to have the kind of like their own preferences on how to do these kind of things, and I try to make the focus as much as I can on structure and content, not so much style of presentation. There has to be citations if you're drawing in outside information. But when it comes to things like MLA format and whatnot, I don't even remember what these things mean. They've never really made an impression on me in terms of kind of like what is important in writing. What's important in writing for me is always what's being said, not how it's being presented to me so much. Okay. Looking the beginning of the live chat as well. Yeah. Check it. When this video goes up, check it. See if there is anything else in there that may have been helpful. And if anything comes up afterwards, if you think of any further questions, do not hesitate to ask them here, because this is supposed to be providing something like an in-class kind of dialogue with students. And don't hesitate to send me an email or even call me. I've had a few students call me already, and it was so nice talking to them. I really miss hearing students' voices. I really miss seeing students' faces. So that's one of the reasons why I am going to try to do this on Zoom next week, and it looks like we might be doing it Saturday of next week. I say we would say we didn't think just how much we would miss being in class until we stopped being in class. Now there was always a certain amount of fear and trembling for me every time I would go into a classroom, because I would think, oh, how am I going to screw up the lecture today? But that is just that. I realize now that was just such a small thing compared to just the sheer pleasure I had being with students in a classroom, because it was just so good to get feedback from them. And of course, there were times where it was really, really frustrating when I was not getting feedback. But say, when you do get feedback, it is such a joy. It is such a joy. But we'll try to get a little bit of that back by doing Zoom. Now, one of the reasons why last semester I did all of this on YouTube was because, say, a lot of students didn't seem to like doing the Zoom classrooms. They didn't like having their faces seen. They didn't like having their voices heard. I want to see whether that might have changed at this point. I want to see whether students might be a little bit more comfortable with that, because it is different. It is different, say, from being in a classroom as opposed to, say, being on camera. It's having a very kind of like different a different sense of having some kind of control over yourself, because you've got to sit right in front of the camera. You got to put yourself in that position to be seen. Say in the classroom, you know that there are all kinds of distractions. You're not being looked at all the time. But say with a camera, it's like you're being stared at all the time. So I know that could be a very uncomfortable feeling. Yeah, Munir says it's definitely a mixed bag. It's certainly a mixed bag. But I want to see whether students might be a little bit more comfortable doing Zoom in the future. Plus, I need to learn how to do it. I mean, it's obvious now, not only, say, in this pandemic situation that we're dealing with right now, that I need to really up my game when it comes to providing the opportunities for students to be in communication with me, but also we are going to still be moving in direction of, say, more remote education even after the pandemic. I know that after the pandemic, we're going to be so happy to be back in classrooms, but it might still be the case, because this is how the schools were going anyway before the pandemic. It might still be the case that we would be doing more remote education anyway, which would require me to learn how to do more Zoom-oriented kind of classes. Oh, it's okay, Munir. Say it's to be expected. Like I said earlier, say we're trying to find some way to get this to move this forward as easily as we can, which means that we will have to be a little bit indulgent with each other. You know, you'll have to be a little patient with me, and I'll have to be a little patient with you in terms of, say, getting stuff done, getting stuff uploaded. Certainly, you know, I can't strain your patience, but you know, it's certainly not as easy as me just going to the school, going to the classroom, and maybe even extemporaneizing if I forgot my lecture notes that day. If I forget my lecture notes, I can still do a lecture. I can still just stand in front of you guys and off the top of my head do the topic pretty easily. Not so during videos. Okay. Oh, and so you also say that you like that I mentioned the Breath of the Wild series. It's not that I like Breath of the Wild. I don't play a lot of video games, but I try to keep up a little bit with what is happening in video games, because I do think it is a very interesting medium, and it's presenting a lot of interesting problems, and also it's when it comes to, say, what young people are engaged in, it's the most popular medium for entertainment, for even for information in a lot of ways. We had some rather shocking news the other day where it seems that like a lot of young people are not aware of the fact that the Nazis murdered, exterminated at least 6 million Jewish people, and also millions of gypsies, political dissidents, homosexuals, people with disabilities, and so on. They're not aware of that. And you have to ask yourself, why is that? And I think one of the answers is that when you say that so much information about history is being passed through video games these days, and when you play a video game that includes the Nazis in it, it's almost never the Nazis doing what the Nazis actually did. It's almost always the Nazis doing something supernatural. It's like it's in the Wolfenstein games. It's almost always about, say, the occult Thule Society stuff. You know, it's all Indiana Jones stuff, not actual Nazi stuff. The Nazis were not wizards. The Thule Society went nowhere. They uncovered no supernatural secrets. Trust me, I've read my history. It didn't happen. But this is the kind of information that's being put in front of people and not actual history. So you have to keep a kind of like a close watch on the kind of information that's going out there. Okay. Alejandra asked, next semester is going to be on 2. That's the way that we're going. It looks like because a certain president tried to force the states to open too early, and also because we have not yet developed a vaccine, we are going to be planning to have next semester be online. That's the plan. Plans can change, just like we didn't plan to have last semester go remote. So we are saying that spring 2021 will be done online, but we'll see what happens. Yeah. But even if we do get a vaccine by 2021, though, say it's going to take a long time for everyone to get vaccinated. And while that's happening, we'll still need to socially distance. Say, a vaccine is not going to make the problem go away instantly. It'll still be a long time of getting everyone vaccinated and also seeing whether it is actually having a positive effect on the population. We actually need to see the numbers of infections and hopefully the number of deaths going down before we need to start about thinking about like really say sending things back to normal. Now, I know that we got a president who wants everything to go back to normal immediately, but it can't work like that. It can't work like that without a horrendous amount of human cost. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, most likely. Say Munir is right. Most likely, it's going to go online. I'm just trying to catch up with the chat. Okay. Yeah. So it's a mess right now. It's a big old mess, but we'll do the very best we can to get through it. Certainly, this is the toughest thing that a lot of people have had to do for many a decade in my country, is getting through this thing. But this is still not the worst thing to ever happen to us. Certainly, it's going to be the worst thing to happen to you if you lose a loved one, if you lose a friend to the virus. It will still be the worst thing to ever happen to you. But I mean, kind of like collectively as a country, we've been through worse. We'll get through this, hopefully. Who knows? We'll see. We're certainly not dealing with the generation who went through the Great Depression and fought World War II here. Dealing with a bunch of babies. He says, "Oh, boo-hoo, I have to wear a mask. I can't go get a haircut." It's pathetic. It really, really is pathetic. Okay. So, see here. Speaking of the pandemic, say, have any of you come across any controversial statements recently regarding the pandemic? We had some very mixed signals from the administration the other day about, say, when a vaccine will likely be available. Say we have the director of the CDC. Well, not the director. Yeah, he's the director of the CDC. The director of the CDC saying that likely would not happen until the third quarter of 2021. And then the president saying, no, we'll have one ready in just a few weeks. So a lot of mixed signals going out there. Do you think this will actually be, do you think that there is harm coming from this, having all of this mixed information about the pandemic? Say, we have a lot of people claiming to know, including myself, a lot of people claiming to know a lot about it. Say the people claiming to know, say that the numbers are rigged, the numbers are inflated. It's not as bad as people say. This is an overhyped pandemic. Where do you think that, say that for the most part, that the majority of people are gravitating towards reliable sources of information, or do you think it's just too much of a clusterfuck to say, of how well information is being disseminated out there? Let me know. Let me drop that as a question. We only got a few people on here, but let me know. Also, have you encountered anyone, let's say if you work, have you, wherever you work, do you work at a place where it's required to wear a face mask inside? The employee have to wear a mask. Say, do you require the customers to wear a mask as well? And if they're required to wear a mask, have you encountered any situation where they have refused to do so? Where they refuse to wear a mask? So let me know. We are getting into the final 10 minutes of the chat, so maybe we'll start winding things down anyway. I'm drawing. I say when the chat began, I was drawing a picture of a choo-choo train back there. I was able to get the cow catcher done at the very least. All right, Alejandro says, I think people can't process data well, so they just go what's easier for them to understand. It is true that I don't know about say that there certainly is difficulty in a lot of situations where and it doesn't have to be say the same people all the time. Say people who can process data well in one situation might not be able to process well in another situation based on say their familiarity with it, their comfort level with the information, all that kind of stuff, or how it seems to kind of like risk certain things in one area over another area. But I think you're right that say a lot of it when we see the kind of lack of acceptance of what's going on, or trying to still kind of like trying to stubbornly challenge it as if it is not a dire situation. That a lot of it is them trying to turn the situation into something that is a little bit more comfortable for them. And in some situations, that is looking at things as a conspiracy. Now, in this class, I do want to talk a little bit about, say, conspiracy theories, not because I want to promote conspiracy theories, not at all, but I do want to talk about, say, why conspiracy theories are popular. Why is it easier for some people to believe what is, say, when you really look at it, a much, much, much harder thing to prove or to actually find evidence for than something else where we can have ample evidence. We can have ample reasons demonstrating why it is not the way they believe it is. So I think that, say, even when you move in the direction of conspiracy, you are turning the world into, say, something a little bit easier for you to accept. It's a little bit easier for some people to accept that things are the blame, say the actions, say that the situation can be blamed on the actions of certain people, rather than it being, say, really no one to blame. No one is to blame for the existence of the COVID-19 virus. The COVID-19 virus is, say, the result of, say, a natural evolution of a virus. That's just what happens. That's just why we have all the diseases that we've had historically. They were not created in a laboratory by some evil scientist. They were, say, the result of an evolutionary process, much like everything else that we have in our natural world. But rather than, say, it being, say something that is just out of our control, like it being, say, a natural process of evolution, much easier to put the blame on the actions of certain people, because then I can say we can do something about that. We can punish these people. We can damn these people. It's very difficult to damn things you have no control over, but it's very easy to damn people that you might be able to have some influence on. Say it's very difficult to have influence on nature. Very much easier, anyway, to have influence on people. To say, we're going to drop sanctions on you for what you did to us. We'll go to war for what you did to us. And we know why you did it, because you want to undermine the U.S. Oh, that was a honey of a conspiracy theory where they said that China created the virus so that it would hurt us economically, because China was jealous that we weren't going to play ball with them any longer. Yeah, because say the president was so bloody victorious with his tariff and trade war. No. China was able to turn things back in their favor with that one too, because all they have to do is say we're not going to accept your crops anymore. We're not going to accept your soybeans. It's fine. We'll suffer, but say, you're going to suffer too for it. We're holding the cards here in terms of how important you are to us. Say, including with TikTok as well. China would rather lose TikTok than to give in to the kind of coercion that the president is trying to put onto them. So it is so this conspiracy theory was that, say, China created the virus to hurt us economically. Now, how plausible does that sound to you? How plausible does it sound to you that you would create something that you could have no control over? Because once you put a virus out there, you can't control the virus. You can't control its spread. You can't control, say, whether it's going to really hurt your own population more than, say, the target population. How likely is it that you would try to use something like that, and by the way, have it go through all the way through Europe first before it comes to the United States? Because that's how it got here. It didn't come from the Pacific, from China over to the United States. It came through Europe to the United States. How likely is that? Well, we'll see about, say, TikTok going down officially this Sunday. There might be a last-minute change of mind about that. Trump is a showman. He does want to, say, create a lot of drama around this. It does take attention away from a lot of other things. But we'll see. Right now, it doesn't look like Trump is going to agree to the Oracle deal. But we'll see what happens. Any like a last minute. They say China might even give way in the last minute. We'll see. We'll see. This is a game of bricksmanship. That's for damn sure. Okay. Yeah. So Alejandro, I do think that you're right. I think that to a degree, it is, say, people gravitating over to, say, something that is a little bit easier for them to understand. And the reason why they want it to be easier for them to understand is because they want it to be easier for them to control. You feel a lot more comfortable in a situation that you can have some control over. And even when you're able to kind of like put the blame on people that you might never even have any kind of like interaction with, much easier to put the blame on them, which is why you've had conspiracy theories against minority groups for a long time. Because it does not only take the blame off of yourself, but it also gives further validation for your continued oppression of those groups. Okay. Well, I think we'll call it a day there, unless anyone has any more questions or comments or anything else. Anyone else have anything more to say? Okay. All right. So we'll call it a day. Say we're cutting it short just by 2 minutes, but I think that's all right. Okay. So you guys, you take care of yourselves. Hope you all are having a very good. What day is this? Is this Friday? Yeah, it's Friday. Okay. I hope you all are having a very good Friday. I'll get the lectures up later today. Send me questions, send me comments if you have any, and stay safe, everyone. And I'll get in touch with you guys about doing this on Zoom next week. I say thank you, Zara. Thank you, Alejandra. Thank you, Munir. Thank you, Samantha. Thank you, Yujung, and everyone else who participated. I think I just read off the names of everyone. Okay. Take care and stay safe.